Good morning. Today we will discuss regarding robot configuration. So first of all, we will see what is degrees of freedom of a robot. The degrees of freedom, that is DOF, of a rigid body is defined as the number of independent movements it has. Higher number degree of freedom indicates an increased flexibility in positioning a tool. For each degree of freedom, a joint is required. The degrees of freedom located in the arm define the configuration. Industrial robots are designed to perform production work. The work is accomplished by enabling the robot to move its body, arm, and wrist through a series of motions and positions. Attached to the wrist is the end effector, which is used by the robot to perform a specific work task. The robot's movements can be divided into two general categories. First is arm and body motions, and second, wrist motions. The individual joint motions associated with these two categories are sometimes referred as degrees of freedom. So these two categories of robots movements are: first is arm and body motion and second is wrist motion. And a typical industrial robot is equipped with 4 to 6 degrees of freedom. A robot manipulator can be divided into two sections: body and arm assembly and wrist assembly. There are usually 3 degrees of freedom associated with the body and arm, and either 2 or 3 degrees of freedom associated with the wrist. So, in short, body and arm consist of 3 degrees of freedom and wrist consist of again 3 degrees of freedom. So total there are 6 degrees of freedom for a industrial robot. So you can see the 6 major degrees of freedom of a robotic system. The horizontal part in a system, that is a arm, and at the end of the arm there is a wrist. So 3 degrees of freedom that will be associated with the arm and the body, and the 3 degrees of freedom that is associated with the wrist, that is shown in this diagram. So you can see, first that is a rotational transverse movement of arm, then second it is radial transverse movement of arm, and third is vertical transverse movement of arm. And 3 degrees of freedom that is associated with the wrist, it is: fourth is pitch, fifth is yaw, and sixth is roll. So this is regarding the robot degrees of freedom. So the robot arm, so the 3 degrees of freedom located in the arm of a robotic setup are: first is rotational transverse movement. So you can see the first movement, that is rotational transverse movement of the arm. It is the movement of the arm assembly about rotary axis, such as left and right swivel of the robot's arm about the base. Then second is radial transverse movement. So you can see the second movement of the arm, that is radial transverse. So it is the extension and retraction of the arm, or the in and out motion relative to the base. And third is vertical transverse. So you can see the vertical transverse movement of the arm. So it provides the up and down motion of the arm of the robotic system. So this is regarding the arm movement. So these are the 3 degrees of movements associated with the arm. Then movements associated with the wrist. So wrist assembly is attached to the end of the arm. So you can see the wrist here. End effector is attached to wrist assembly. The function of wrist assembly is to orient end effector. So body and arm determines global position of end effector. So 2 or 3 degrees of freedom of the wrist are roll, pitch and yaw. So you can see there is a roll in a diagram. You can see there is a roll, then pitch and the yaw. These are the 3 degrees of freedom or movement of the wrist. The 3 degrees of freedom located in the wrist, that is pitch or bend. Pitch means it is the up and down movement of the wrist. Then yaw means it is the right and left movement of the wrist. And roll or swivel means it is the rotation of the hand. So you can see there's movements associated with the wrist. So these are the degrees of freedom that is shown in a separate slide here, that is associated with the wrist. Then we will see the robot configurations. So the 5 common body and arm configurations for industrial robots. So considering 5 types of joints, there are total 5 into 5 into 5 equal to 125 different combinations of joints that can be used to design the body and arm assembly for a 3 degrees of freedom robot manipulator. So there are only 5 basic configurations commonly available in commercial industrial robots. So these 5 configurations are: first is polar coordinate body and arm assembly. Second is cylindrical body and arm assembly. Third is Cartesian coordinate body and arm assembly. Fourth is jointed arm body and arm assembly. And fifth is selective compliance assembly robot arm, that is called the SCARA. So function of body and arm assembly is to position an end effector, for example gripper or tool, in a space. So the first configuration associated with the body and arm configuration is polar configuration. So the notation for polar configuration, it is TRL. So T means it is a twisting joint, R means it is a rotational joint, and L means it is a linear joint. So this configuration consists of a sliding arm, that is L joint. So you can see in a diagram. So notations that are given, that is TRL, that is given in a diagram. So it consists of a sliding arm, that is L joint. Then so sliding arm actuated relative to the body, which can rotate about both a vertical axis, that is T joint, and horizontal axis, that is R joint. So it has one linear motion and 2 rotary motion. So you can see L means it is a linear motion and R and T means it is a rotary motion. The work volume is like a section of sphere. The first motion corresponds to the base rotation about vertical axis, that is joint T. The second motion corresponds to the elbow rotation, that is joint R. And third motion corresponds to in and out translation, that is joint L. So you can see here the different linear and rotational joints. Larger work envelope than the rectilinear or cylindrical robot, and design gives weight lifting capabilities. So you can see the diagram again, diagram of polar configuration and the different movements that are given, that is TRL. Then this is a work envelope of polar configuration that is shown. Then advantages. So it covers a large volume. It can bend down to pick objects up of the floor and higher reach ability. Then disadvantages: complex kinematic model and difficult to visualize. The applications of polar configurations are die casting, deep coating, forging, glass handling, heat treating, then injection molding, machine tool handling, material transfer, parts cleaning, press loading, and stacking and unsticking. These are the applications of polar configuration. Then second configuration in a body and arm configuration is cylindrical configuration. So the notation for cylindrical configuration is TLO. So T means it is a twisting joint, L means it is a linear joint, and O means it is a orthogonal joint. So we have already seen the different types of joints in a previous lecture. So it consists of vertical column relative to which an arm assembly is moved up and down. So the arm can be moved in or out relative to the column. So you can see in a diagram the different movements. So the robot configuration consists of vertical column relative to which an arm assembly is moved up and down. The arm can be moved in and out relative to the axis of the column. Now using a T-joint can rotate the column about the axis. L-joint is used to move the arm assembly vertically along the column, while O-joint is used to achieve radial movement of the arm. So these are the movements that are given in this slide. So this is a work envelope of the cylindrical configuration. So how the robot arm and the wrist that will move during the work, that is a work envelope that is given. Then advantages: the vertical structure conserves floor space. Their deep horizontal reach is useful for far-reaching operations. Their capacity is capable of carrying large payloads. Then disadvantages: so their overall mechanical rigidity is lower than that of the rectilinear robots because their rotary axis must overcome inertia. Their repeatability and accuracy are also lower in the direction of rotary motion, and their configuration requires more sophisticated control system than the rectangular robots. Then applications: it is used for assembly work, coating applications, conveyor pallet transfer, die casting, foundry and forging applications, inspection of molding, investment casting, and machine loading and unloading. Then next configuration is Cartesian coordinate. So the notation for this, it is LOO. L means it is a linear joint. O means it is a orthogonal joint. So it consists of 3 sliding joints, 2 of which are orthogonal. Other names include rectilinear robot and XYZ robot. So it has 3 linear axes of motion. X represented left and right motion. You can see the X movement left to right. Then Y describes forward and backward motion, and Z is used for up and down motion. Now the work envelope of a rectangular robot is a cube or rectangle, so that any work performed by robot must only involve motions inside the space. So it is a space where the robot components that can be moved. So you can see there is a work envelope, it is a cube. So the advantages, they can origin large work envelope because traveling along x-axis, the volume region can be increased easily. Their linear movement allows the simpler controls. They have high degree of mechanical rigidity, accuracy and repeatability due to their structure. They can carry heavy loads because the weightlifting capacity does not vary at different locations within the work envelope. Disadvantages, they makes maintenance more difficult for some models with overhead drive mechanisms and control equipment, and their movement is limited to one direction at a time. Applications used for pick and place operation, adhesive applications mostly long and straight, advanced, that is military weapons handling, then assembly and sub-assembly, automated loading CNC machine, CNC lathe and milling operation, nuclear material handling and welding. Then jointed arm robot. The notation for jointed arm robot, it is TRR. T means it is a twisting joint and RR means, or R means it is a rotational joint. So you can see in a diagram how the notations that are given, that is TRR. So it is a general configuration of a human arm. So the jointed arm consists of a vertical column that swivels about the base using T joint. At the top of the column, it is a shoulder joint shown as an R joint, whose output link connects to an elbow joint, that is another R joint. So it is similar to human arm and consists of two straight components like human forearm and upper arm mounted on a vertical pedestal. So the components are connected by two rotary joints corresponding to the shoulder and elbow. And the work volume, it is spherical. So you can see the spherical work volume of jointed arm configuration. So it is a space in which the robot components that can move, that is called the work envelope. So the advantages of jointed arm configuration, it has a maximum flexibility, covers large space relative to work volume, objects up of the floor, suits electric motors and higher reach ability. Disadvantages, that is complex kinematic model, difficult to visualize, and structure is not rigid at full reach. And applications used for the spot welding and arc welding applications. Then SCARA robot. So SCARA robot, the notation, it is VRO. So V means it is a revolving joint, then R means it is rotational joint, and O means it is a orthogonal joint. So it is a SCARA stands for selectively compliance assembly robot arm, that is called a SCARA, that is the long form of SCARA. It is similar to jointed arm robot except that vertical axes are used for shoulder and elbow joints to be compliant in horizontal direction for vertical insertion task. So this permits the robot to perform insertion tasks, that is for assembly, in a vertical direction where some side or where some side to side alignment may be needed to make the two parts properly. To make the two parts properly. So it is the most commonly used in assembly robot. Arm consists of two horizontal revolution joints at the waist and elbow and a final prismatic joint. It can reach at any point within horizontal planar defined by two concentric circles. So work volume is cylindrical in nature. So you can see the work volume for a SCARA configuration. So again see the configuration of SCARA. So advantages: floor area is small compared to work area. Disadvantages: the rectilinear motion requires complex control of revolute joints, and applications are assembly operations, inspection and measurements, and transfer of components. Then next is second category of the robot configuration is wrist configuration. So the wrist assembly is attached to the end of the arm and end effector is attached to the wrist assembly. So the function of wrist assembly is to orient end effector. So the body and arm determines global position of the end effector. Now 2 or 3 degrees of freedom that is associated with the wrist. So these are roll, pitch and yaw. So robot wrist is used to establish the orientation of the end effector. So the robot wrist usually consists of 2 or 3 degrees of freedom. So that 3 degrees of freedom are roll, pitch and yaw. So you can see the diagram of wrist configuration and associated degrees of freedom that is shown, and the notation it is RRT. So R means it is a rotational joint and T means it is a twisting joint. So the wrist motion. So the first is yaw. So yaw means it is a rotary motion executed about x-axis. It causes the movement in left and right direction. That is the movement, that is yaw. You can see how the end effector that can be moved. Another diagram of the yaw you can see here. So yaw means it is a rotary motion executed about z-axis. You can see here, and causes movement in left and right direction. Then pitch, that is rotary motion executed about y-axis and it causes movement in up and down direction. So you can see the pitch, up and down direction, that you can move the end effector in up and down direction. And roll means rotary motion executed about x-axis. So you can see the x-axis, that is end effector that you can rotate about x-axis. So separate diagram that is for the wrist that is shown and the degree of freedom that is shown. The yaw means it is a motion in left and right direction. Then pitch means it is a up and down motion of the end effector, and roll means it is a rolling motion of the end effector. So in this slide, the different configurations are shown here, and on the left hand side the advantages and disadvantages that are given in one table. So you can go through this. So this is regarding the robot configuration. Thank you.